and I'm an ecologist and environmental educator in Southern Oregon. This is an episode of Outside Everyday with So Real, helping you connect and learn with nature. Let's go see what my kid is doing. Hi, Connor. What are you doing?
I'm just watching the clouds.
Oh. Clouds are a playground for the imagination. In order to enjoy cloud watching, all you need is a comfortable place, something to lie on like a blanket. The best part about this is you can do it anywhere and it's free. One of the cool things about this is sharing with your child. Let your kid tell you what they see, and then you can tell them what you see. Sometimes you'll see bugs or birds or an airplane go by, and that's great to talk about too. Another thing you can do is grab your nature journal and sketch some clouds, maybe write a story about it. You know what one of the things is that I wonder about when I'm watching clouds? Sometimes when I'm watching clouds, I notice that some of them move very fast, and at other times they move very slow. Why do you think that is?
I think that it's the wind moving them, just like how wind moves the treetops on windy days.
Awesome. That's exactly right. You know what? I've got an experiment we can do to learn more about this. Come on, let's go. Wind. Okay, what is wind? Really what wind is just warm air and cool air mixing together. The surface of the earth heats unevenly. There are some things that heat quickly, like rocks, and there are some things that heat slowly, like water. And when the air that's heating up around those two things comes together, that warm air and cool air mixes, that's what makes wind, are those two air masses coming together. So here's a simple experiment that you can do at home to help illustrate that. Here's what you're going to need. You're going to need 4 containers of the same size with a neck about an inch apart. And you're going to need some warm water. Here, this is yellow. This is our warm water. And you're going to need some cold water. This is our cold water, and this is blue. And you're going to need a couple of old playing cards that you can put on the tops of the jars. I've also added a tray, just in case I make a mess, and maybe a towel also to help contain your mess. Okay? So this is what you'll do. Fill 2 jars with warm water. You're going to want it all the way up to the very tippy top. And then you're going to fill 2 jars with cold water, all the way up to the very tippy top. Now what you're going to want to do is place a playing card on top of the jar that you're going to want to have on top. The first one we're going to do, we're going to have the warm water on top. So I'm going to put the playing card on top of that one. So what you're going to see here is when the warm water goes on top of the cold water, this cold, dense water is going to stay on the bottom, and the warm, less dense water will stay on top. So we really aren't going to see very much mixing. Here we go. You want the tops lined up very evenly. So they're exactly on top of each other. And then I'm going to slide the card out. Okay, make sure your jars stay right on top of each other. So if you can see this, you'll notice you really aren't getting any mixing. This cool, cold, dense is staying on the bottom, and the warm, less dense is staying on the top. But now, let's see what happens the other way. In this side, we're going to put the cold, dense water on top and the warm, less dense on the bottom. Now let's see what happens with this one. All right, now look at this. Immediately, you see the two colors starting to mix. We can tell because it's turning green instead of saying blue and yellow. So what happened was that cold, dense water on the top immediately started falling down, and this warm water that's less dense on the bottom immediately started mixing up. Yellow and blue make green. This is how we know that this is mixing, okay? With this one over here, because this warm water is up on the top and it's just staying there, this is how hot air balloons work. The hot air inside of the balloon is less dense than the cold air around it, so the balloon rises. This over here on this side, when we see this mixing together, there's actually a name for that. That's called a convection current. A convection current. So the next time you see clouds being blown around by the wind, you'll know why that's happening. It's warm air and cool air mixing. Or the next time you hear a weather report on TV, you'll know why when the weatherman says a front is coming in, you'll know what that means. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Outside Every Day with So Real. And I hope you enjoy your cloud watching and keep an eye out for the wind.